Hello and welcome to Writer's Block. I'm Dylan.
Oh, is it
Oh,
me now?
yeah.
I don't know. You joined the sound
You've been
test.
doing this way and then you're going this way and
During the sound test, you're just like yeah.
I make up your mind.
Order.
Yeah, man.
Okay, I'm Dylan.
I'm Javon.
I'm Sean.
And yeah, welcome back. So I think we're going to start off today with Sean. And what do you have to talk about, bud?
Well, there are lots to talk about.
Yeah, it's almost like a rusty or something.
Yeah. But you know what? Let's talk about the fact that a lot of changes are going to happen to Marvel and DC over the next few months. Big enough that we should talk about it just to throw out some theories and see what happens and all of that stuff, because they can go a number of different ways with this.
So I'm gonna step in here and say I agree with everything Sean says, because whenever you make a fucking whenever you decide to predict something, it ends up being true.
That's true.
So I'm just I already throw in with Sean.
Okay.
How about that?
Okay. Well, here's my first thing, and this is pretty big. So I do believe a lot of the cinematic changes, or actually no, a lot of the comic changes have to do with the climate of the cinematic universe and how popular it's becoming. And I think it's gotten so big now that there has to be that element of what's going on in Marvel Universe coinciding with what's happening with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because what is happening is that it's almost like two separate entities, and somehow there has to be that unity where it sort of combines a little bit, maybe even in the idea of, and I know they do movie preludes when it comes to, they did it for Avengers, they did it for Iron Man and stuff like that. But those books come and go really quickly. Like, you barely even know they're there.
Yeah, they're like 4 or 5 parts, and then
right. But then the regular series, there isn't that crossover, that significant crossover that means anything to the regular universe. So I'm thinking that may change a little bit. You might start seeing a little bit of trickle down effect from what's going on with the Marvel comics into the Marvel Cinematic Universe and vice versa. Right? That's the first part. The second part is that a lot of the existing properties that's outside of Disney and Marvel Universe, and I think what's happening is, and I think most of you already know, is because the brand is held in such high regards for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that all the other existing brands belonging to other production companies aren't reaching those standards anymore. So I think it's becoming a situation where Marvel is maybe looking at that and saying, okay, you know what, we know we can do a much better job with a certain character or a certain group or whatever it is. We need to know that they're holding those same properties with that high standard. And you know, you could talk about 10 people, 8 of them will probably say they're not holding the high regards, right? And we could talk about 20th Century Fox as a prime example. Fantastic Four, you know what the result of that is. And you know what? I was
going to say, the perfect example is Spider-Man. Everyone at works at Sony hates Spider-Man. Yeah. And they don't even care about making a new Spider-Man movie. They just do it because they know they'll make some semblance of money, but now it's just a money pit.
Well,
now they're not treating the character with any respect.
Well, it was first the money grab, now it's become the money pit. So now the smart play is, like, if we were running that as a business, we would do that. We would lend the character out, do whatever, because they know that if the cinematic universe is golden and is generating so many billions of dollars annually, then hey, lend the product out, let's get a piece of that pie. That would be the smart play. Does that necessarily mean that they're doing it?
No.
Well, no. But there may be posturing, right? It may be posturing because they want to figure out how much money they can get from this. Because you have to remember, even though they turn around and say, we made money, it's not the type of money you would turn around and say, you know what, guys? Boy, we hit pay dirt with this last Spider-Man movie. And we know this last Spider-Man movie was garbage.
No, actually, they lost money for that one.
They lost money?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it flopped
exponentially
and lost money.
Yes.
Especially for the stars they had.
Right. So you recoup it, right? And this is how you do it. You lend it out. That means you don't have to put out too much money anymore towards this character. Let the cinematic universe and Disney deal with it. However, you know what? If I'm on the flip side saying, what am I getting out of it? You know what? I'll handle the marketing. I'll handle the promotion. I'll handle the toy factors in it. Right? And that way I'm still getting a percentage in and I can recoup whatever money, right? From the Spider-Man property. That's the smart play. Does that necessarily mean that that's what they're looking at? I don't know.
Probably
right?
not.
Probably not. But I would say, and which is what everybody is saying, but I do think that Spider-Man will be lent out to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Right? I do believe that. I think it's the only place Sony has to recoup whatever money.
It's the only thing Sony can do.
Yeah.
I think it's the only thing they should do.
I think so.
But knowing Sony, I think they're gonna just like shit the bed and try to make another movie.
Well, they could try to do it. It's just it's never gonna be of standards.
Yeah,
because they don't have the right people.
Yeah, like they don't care. Like there's
no.
They just want to make the movie to get the money. They don't care about the bigger brand. Really,
the passion isn't there. Yeah. It's just not there.
Like it's been known that everyone involved, including the directors and writers, do not care about Spider-Man. They actually hate it.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's a joke around the Sony offices that everyone just hates Spider-Man, and this brand is just weighing down the company with what, like your cell phones are basically shit. Your laptops are shit. You don't make like TVs anymore. You closed 1 billion stores in fucking Canada.
Yeah. So if you don't like it, sell it back.
Yeah.
Right.
The problem is that they don't want to because of like they don't want to give it to them because it's like then they'll make all of the money that we could possibly be making. Yeah. That's the business side of it.
Yeah, and the thing is, so what are you gonna do? But you see, you can't hold on to it and not make money because what's gonna happen now is that if you don't make anything Spider-Man related, the rights revert back.
Yeah.
So you might as well say, you know what? Let's just sell it. But what you're gonna do is, which is what 20th Century Fox is doing, is they're producing a potentially garbage movie with Fantastic Four and show no bones about it so that the rights can be kept. Which brings me to my theory, which is what, you know, you guys heard I've been talking about this, which is one part I didn't expect them to be so-called quote-unquote ending Marvel Universe. What I was thinking was, since they decide that they want to, the term mutant can't be used so much in the cinematic universe, especially the Marvel side, right? Do it for the comic books. So what happens is it's the same loophole between Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver, which is you use them, but they're not called mutants. They're gifted on the Marvel side. 20th Century Fox has them as mutants. Well, dude, you know what? Keep your mutants. Keep the name on the cinematic side. You can still use it in the comic books, but keep it on the cinematic side. But what we'll do is we will take our version of those characters, kill them, and bring them back as Inhumans. Because Inhumans is now the new mutants. And that's why I'm thinking you're going to start seeing characters being slowly killed off and being revamped. Maybe that's what they're doing with the larger version of Marvel Universe, the comic version, which is they're ending it and then doing a whole revamp and the change of history, right? In order to have the properties so that they can use it to however they choose, right? So mutants are not going to be called mutants anymore. The name will still be there, but you won't hear the name as much in the comic universe anymore.
I think you're right on that. Just if you look at the way how the comic universe has been bending over backwards to be like another arm to sell the cinematic universe. I mean,
right.
You have Coulson's inclusion into the comic universe. You have the whole Inhumanity. The hottest new hero, who's Miss Marvel, is an Inhuman. Mm-hmm. They've pretty much given up on making new mutants at this point, and they've really
not creating anymore.
Yeah, and I think, and if you look at like now they're making an Ant-Man solo series in time with the comic books, in time for the movie. I'm sure you'll see a Black Panther comic series come out at the same time too.
Yeah. I do think it's a massive evolution of not only the history of some of the characters, but what they're going to be termed at going forward. And I think they're taking a piece of their own comic history when the Celestials came, and there was the Terrigen Mist, and then there was creation of the Inhumans, and then you also had the Defiance, I think they were called. I can't remember. It's been a while since I read it. But then there was always the factions and stuff of how they were created, right? So I think they're taking that element and saying, okay, well, everyone is going to be titled under the Inhumans and gifted. It's almost like DC using metahumans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right?
I think this has a very, very, very high chance of blowing up in someone's face. I think it's a good idea. I'm not the guy saying that, but I'm just thinking of the other set of fans who are going to be pissed off because they are dumb.
Yeah.
Like even the suggestion that Spider-Man could be black automatically exploded and things were divided.
But you have to remember.
But like I'm saying, like if this was even the suggestion, imagine the straight. This is what's happening.
Yeah.
Like that divide will be great.
See, and just taking a sidebar from that, since you mentioned that Spider-Man being black, my thing is this: you can talk about Spider-Man being Miles Morales here in Canada, and there will be some implications because everybody knows Peter Parker has always been Spider-Man. I get it. Peter Parker has always been Spider-Man for me as well too. But I'm not of that generation anymore. Right? Let's be realistic. You know? So you introduce Miles Morales. So here's the realistic thing about it. In the US, there will always be that political implication.
Yeah, of course.
There'll always be that social implication because for them it's different. We don't live the way
crazy.
they do. Yeah.
Yeah, they're insane.
Oh yeah. Right? Hey, we called it and we're here. Right?
Come find us in all of Canada.
All of it, yeah.
We'll never say which province we're from.
Wait a minute, we have said the name of the store already.
Also, the store has a location.
Damn.
On the Facebook.
Oh my
I'm
God.
sure we're talking about the city and where we are.
Oh well.
Well, you don't
Deal
know
with
where
it.
I live, so good luck, Sean.
I know. Even though you're like 3 streets
Oh,
up.
you're shut the fuck up. Hey, you know what? Now come and find me.
Yeah.
I'll be manly now.
But no, and the honest thing is for them, it's always this political, there's always this social implication. We're about, give me a good story. If you could put him out black, put him out Asian, I don't care. Just give me a good story. Like, if you could put a good story behind it, done.
It could literally be On Fall Off Boy with the greatest story of all time, and I would be down.
It is.
See, I brought it around.
Exactly.
Brought it
You
back.
had to bring it around.
I got
Full circle, people.
I love Fall Off.
Episode 1 to what's it?
Yeah, I know.
This is like 75.
Yeah. But no, but it's true. If they have to learn to realize that at the end of the day, even though these characters are important in terms of pop culture, right, that it's still just a character. It's a character that can transcend, and you can also share it with, you know, so many other, you know, with your children and their children and stuff like that. So for us, it's more about being able to introduce the character that can give them stories that have this social impact, but we do understand that we can take something from it. Them, on the other hand, you know, they often take this as, oh my God, let's start a riot. They made Peter Parker, they got rid of him because he was white. We gotta get the black guy in there. It's like, what are they doing to us? Like, guys, seriously, it's a character, right? Deal with it. But I believe at some point, even in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that Peter Parker will be phased out.
Now, I don't want to see like a racist, but that black man can't be Spider-Man.
Actually,
there you go.
Yeah, like that is the...
I ran into the brick wall that actually ruins that concept. Is that the producers who hold the rights have already stated that Peter Parker will be the only Spider-Man as long as they hold the rights.
We don't like that black man.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And I bet some people are like, you know what? I love the Marvel Universe, but why is Thor a woman? And they just start foaming at the mouth. I'm like, dude, who cares?
Oh, my only problem with Thor being a woman is that why is her name Thor? Isn't that his name?
Thora.
Was his name like Darren?
I didn't even.
Darren Stone. I mean, what? I know that's Cyborg.
Yeah. Stay tuned. Thor is now going to change to Thora the Explorer.
Thor the Explorer. Yes.
Yes. It's gonna change. Brace yourself.
All right. Awesome. So this entire episode was being the audio was fucking up because Sean's slamming on the table.
Sorry.
So it'll have to be through the onboard camera mic, which is actually pretty good. So we'll be fine there. So that's it.
Yeah.
For this one.
Yeah. So.
You want to do a short recommendations?
You want to do it after? Or you want to do it now?
Let's do it after.
Let's do it after. Okay. Yeah.
Final one's always longer, anyways.
Okay.
All right. Well, so we'll be back with the next video. Take it easy, guys. See you then.